I call the Town of Saratoga annual meeting in session. We don't have Pledge of Allegiance on here, but I think I'd like to do it. Sure. Would everybody please stand for Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Chief, can you turn off that furnace, please? We're going to try to turn off the furnace because it's very noisy. All right. First on the agenda is the oath of office for the incoming town officials. Josh McDonald was excused.
We took care of that in the office.
So he took care of it in the office. Thank you. And then we have Carl Greenway. Can you please come up here, Carl? And the clerk will administer the oath of office.
I, Carl Greenway, having been elected or appointed to the office of town supervisor, but have not yet entered upon the duties thereof, swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Thank you, Carl. Welcome aboard. I would like to say publicly thank you to Roger for all that he's done for the town. He's been very active in the public works side of it and participating in numerous things with the fire departments and very hands-on with the board. Thank you very much, Roger, for your service.
Thanks for working with me. Always tried to work for the best interest of the town, for the supervisors and for the people, especially. Here's the keys, Carl. You don't need to copy these. I don't have any copies of them at all. That's the charger for the laptop that Paulette will supply to you. Any other pertinent information in regards to anything that was involved with, I will supply through the town hall. The rest of the records, I'll get them back to you or I will destroy them.
Thank you very much, Roger.
Okay.
We appreciate your service. Thank you. All right. Now we will read the minutes from the 2023 annual meeting. Is that me or you? I will read them. Paulette, you're going to have to be reading a lot soon. These are the unapproved minutes. The meeting date was Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. The time was 6 p.m. The place was Saratoga Town Hall. Present was Josh McDonald, Roger Wilcox, myself, Lorelei Fear, Chase Brockman, and Brian Peterson. Absent was Rhonda Carroll, Bill Leichman, Gail Kretschmeyer. This meeting was officially noticed on April 13th, 2023. Supervisor McDonald called the meeting to order at 6 p.m. The Pledge of Allegiance was recited. Lorelei Fear read the minutes from the April 19th, 2022 annual meeting minutes. Motion by Doug Pasno, seconded by Kathy Palm to approve the minutes. The 2022 annual financial report was prepared and read by Billy Joe Kester and Paulette Weinfurter. Motion was made by Greg Furkey, seconded by Ember Rodenbeck to approve the 2022 annual financial report. The next annual town meeting will take place on Tuesday, April 16th, 2023 at 6 p.m. That should have been April 2024. Can you make that correction? Oh, sure. Jenny Gildenzoff expressed concerns to the town board as well as the plan commission at a previous meeting regarding the land at the end of 64th Street South and Tower Road that is being subdivided by a development company. She would like to keep the rural atmosphere. Ember Rodenbeck would like to see a continued development on Nepco Lake Public Access located on South Shore Drive. Ember has heard pushback from various residents and hopes the development continues and does not stall. Paulette Sullivan has concerns about the public access going back to the town of Port Edwards because of the boundary agreement. It was explained that the public access is not in the boundary area. She is also concerned with the cost of maintaining the public access. Supervisor Wilcox stated that the area was laid out for canoe kayak access with steps and a restroom which has not been yet completed. Jeff Manor lives close to the public access and he is concerned with a number of people driving the area and doing donuts. He has been in contact with the Wood County Sheriff's Department and they can only enforce this if they are caught in the act. Dan Forbes asked if the patrol was different from a private road compared to a public road. Supervisor Peterson stated that the residents could call the Sheriff's Department and request additional patrol. Kathy Palm is on the EMS for the town of Saratoga and she is worried about drug use. Several residents would like to see the boat landing opened back up. This would be helpful for water rescue. Jeff Manor stated that the drop off to the lake would be so steep you would not want to carry your canoe or kayak up multiple times, and curious who would maintain the steps to salt and sand them to eliminate the risk of falling. Lots of cattails are present in the lake by the public access. Charlie Feaster feels that this is a waste of money. Paulette Sullivan is also worried that this would be an insurance risk for the town. Billy Joe Kester states that Wood County has mastered the parks in the area and they do a great job. I think mastered should be maintained. She is very concerned with the bike path that was created and designed for people to cross at Highway 13 at Town Line Road. This would be very difficult for a family to cross safely. Supervisor Wilcox has met with Jessica Planner, who does grant writing. He named a few grants that could be investigated further and be studied out. Gordy Whipperforth asked about the Sparks Committee and what will happen. Chairman Fuhrer would like to see the Sparks Committee in place but composed of residents instead of town board. Todd Furkey would like to see the old boat landing open on County Trunk Z and be able to gain access. The restrooms will be hard because it is so low. Supervisor Wilcox shared that the vaulted toilets would need to be filled in and a handicapped accessible porta potty would need to be placed instead. No additional new business. Motion by Dan Forbes, seconded by Doug Pazano to adjourn. Meeting adjourned at 6:57 p.m. Paulette Weinberger, clerk. Do I have a motion by someone to accept, please, Doug?
Motion to accept for 2023.
I have a motion by Doug Pazano. Do I have a second in the audience?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, go ahead.
She's
And your
first.
name, please?
Kathy Schneider.
Kathy Schneider, second. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. The annual financial report. So as I told you, I would do this, so Paulette has to do that.
And if you have a copy of the report, I'm just going to summarize the various categories. The balance on hand, January 1st of 2023, in checking was a negative $85,222.18 because we do always carry a zero balance and then that gets transferred over daily. The general fund, $4,684,156.70 for a total of $4,598,934.52. Revenues, which would include taxes, dog license, personal property, a total of $6,491,914.01. Local taxes from mobile home fees, $24,065.06. Intergovernmental revenues, which would include a lot of our state aid, computer aid, transportation aid, a total of $788,249.70. Licenses and permits, which would include dog license, liquor and beer license, mobile home license, utility permits, $103,687.66. Law and ordinance violations, $5,994.24. Intergovernmental charge for services, $600. Public charge for services, $65,354.63. General miscellaneous, $266,039.80. Borrowed money for debt services, $369,736.49, for a total money available of $12,714,576.11. For the expenditures for general government, a total of $381,053.49. Public safety, $481,762.27. Public works, $1,385,818.95. Health and Human Services, $3,300. Capital outlay, $12,752.60. Conservation and Development, $58,106.02. Other financial uses, $34,053.63. Debt services, $329,053.15. Distribution of taxes to the school districts, $2,855,829.08. To Midstate Technical College, $256,642.81. To the Wood County, $1,675,995.78. For total expenditures of $7,474,367.78. Cash investments on hand, $5,240,208.33, for the total money dispersed and ending balance of $12,714,576.11.
Thank you, Paulette. Any questions? All right, do I need a motion to approve that? Someone to make a motion to approve the financial statement for the town of Saratoga for the ending of January of 2024.
The 2023.
So ending of December of 2023.
Make that motion.
Okay, a motion by Doug. Do I have a second? I have a second by Kathy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes. Thank you, Kathy. You're welcome. All right. We have to set the date for the next year's annual meeting. So it's the third Tuesday of April
Yep, so April 21st.
of 2025.
Seeing how many we have here.
Is it April 15th? Might be wrong.
We can look here. We all got phones.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Ooh, good thing we got somebody checking that out.
April 15th.
Yep,
No,
no,
I right, Roger. Yeah, April 15th.
Yep.
And traffic.
Yep.
Okay, of 2025. All right, any lawful business that may be brought before the town for action under state statute 60.11. Any of the citizens like to bring something forward that they'd like to see happen or discuss or question or? Oh, that sounds great.
So I got a question, Lorelei.
Yes, Roger.
So you serve another year as
Yes,
chair
sir.
lady,
Yes, sir.
and then we're gonna be looking for another chair lady or another chairman,
Yes, sir.
okay? And you had mentioned added staffing possibly in the previous meeting.
It's been discussed a lot, yes, yes.
So were you thinking in the public works area, or were you thinking in the office area?
Well, the conversation really hasn't been voiced as to where that would take place. We are realizing that the citizens want more one-on-one, with someone. So this year we have added a new phone system where they can call anytime and they'll get someone unless they turn off their phone. So, that has added to the hands-on, I guess. We have added the signage, thanks to you in part, you know that. So that's giving the citizens more input. But personally, and I don't want to speak for the rest of the board members, my personal feeling would be if we maybe staggered the hours of the clerk and the deputy clerk to cover more time in the office. Because at this point in time, typically there's somebody there from 9 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, Monday through Thursday. But on Friday, you won't find anyone in the office typically. There are no set office hours for anybody because the treasurer and the clerk work under the state statutes, which states that if they get their work done, they can go home, they can work on Saturdays and Sundays and not during the week. There's no office hours. And we are a township, so typically towns don't hold office hours. If there becomes a need, then yes. But I'm hesitant to do that, being that not only is there a wage involved, there would also be benefits involved. And that would be at a cost to the town. So in my thoughts, I would withhold doing that until it becomes absolutely necessary.
Well, understandable. I guess here's a thought. You know
Sure.
how many hours you put in a given week,
Sure.
how many calls you get.
Yes,
So the next individual that's elected in the position which you're holding now, are they going to be able to sustain those kind of hours and get the town business questions answered along with Paulette and Billy Joe and yourself and the board and continue to move forward? I mean, I know that, I believe that there was a RIP grant on a road that we had consideration for that we run out of time on. There's probably other grants out there possibly that might be advantageous for the town, that, you know, your supervisors are busy, the ladies in the office are busy. You know, there's probably some things that maybe we're missing out there. And that's one of my concerns, that next time when you step down, who's stepping into the chairman's position, you know, that's just one of the things that I would like to ask.
That's a very valid concern, and the only way I can address it, yes, I do put in a lot of hours at town hall, but realize I'm retired. I'm there because I want to be there, and I like knowing and having all my resources available to me in one spot. So, do I put in a lot of hours? Yeah. Will the next person? Well, the history says no. I mean, no town chairman has put in the amount of hours, but they've all worked. They're, you know, if you have a chairman, if you're asking me if I see a spot for a chairman that would be putting in 40 hours a week, oh boy, now we're really talking big bucks. I would lower it to maybe a couple part-time people that overlap. I'm more money conscious. If we have somebody just standing there that can answer questions and point people in the right spot, right direction, I'd be more inclined to do that. As far as grants go, the ARIP grant was an agricultural grant for roads. We only had one road that would have qualified, and we're not even sure that would have qualified just because of the solar that's coming into Rome, potentially coming into Rome. So that was kind of iffy anyway. And with that particular grant, you had to completely put in a new road, a heavy-duty road too, from what I understand. So it would have been a very, very expensive road. And I personally didn't feel that the town wanted to involve that kind of money in a road that potentially maybe a couple logging trucks would use.
Well, I agree, but are there other grants that maybe
Oh.
we're missing the opportunity to put in for? And that's the other piece of it. I understand what you're
Yeah.
stating about that road, and I didn't necessarily
Yeah.
believe that was a good investment neither. But, you know, is there something else that maybe we're missing, you know?
I'm not sure somebody sitting in the office would be able to give you an answer to that. I know there are a lot of grants out there. But as anyone knows, and I know you yourself know, in order to get something, you have to give something, whether it be time, money, matching, whatever it is. Unless we have a need, I don't think we should go searching out grants. Unless we have a need. But I do agree that grants are a very good resource. I guess maybe that is something that, you know, the town would look for in the future. I can't answer that, but you are right. I don't intend to be
As far
around
as
forever.
a lot of these grants, they're very specialized too, so you need the people involved in that specific sector. So the road grants, I think we're hitting pretty much all that we can apply for. We do have our EMS looking into grants for the EMS. There's several different categories. So it's putting one person in charge of all that,
Yeah.
to be honest, probably wouldn't be terribly effective anyways. You need different people working on each type, because each type has different requirements.
Yeah. And I think, based on that too, Roger, our plan commission is really diversified at this point in time. So we're hoping that everybody knows a little bit about something, and maybe if there's a grant out there that we might qualify, maybe one of those people would know. Hopefully, we're all in different sectors, our combined knowledge. I mean, you picked up the grant for the fire, so that was your area of expertise. So,
We did, so.
yeah, well,
But you know.
as I
you-
say, we work together.
You know what I'm trying to ask? I mean, if you do find grants that are available that would help, then it takes time to write them, and you
does.
gotta know how to write them with the right verbiage, you know, and it's just, I'm trying to think
You're
ahead a
very
little
right.
bit. We gotta take it day by day, you know, the next year will get better yet, you know, but I just wanted to ask
Yeah, you're
to
very
have
right.
that discussion, you know, so that
Yep.
it's on the floor.
I agree. I think that is something that will have to be talked about in the future for the town of Saratoga. I'm not sure how soon, but yes, I agree. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else have something you'd like to say? Kathy?
Yeah, just that I agree with Roger that there probably could be a lot of opportunities out there. But then again, like you said, you're gonna have to have somebody who really knows how to search for what you need, if you qualify for what you need, and the ability to be able to write it and propose it.
Yeah.
But I do think that's probably a good idea, that there would be quite a bit of money available if
If we have a need,
we had a need.
yeah.
On that note too, any resident can bring forward, if they're aware of a grant,
Oh, they can?
Oh,
well, they
yes.
can bring forward to us so that, and we can look into it.
Yeah.
So if there's something that you find out there, there's hundreds of grants out there.
Thousands.
Yeah,
There really
well,
is.
yeah, I mean specifically for towns, there's a lot. So are there some we're missing? Probably. But it doesn't matter if we have a full-time employee, they're gonna be missing them too.
Right.
Unless you know exactly where to look. And so we are doing some looking, but if there are any residents that know of a grant, it'd be
I
great
just
for them
hear
to
a
bring
lot
it
of
forward
times,
and we
even
can.
on the news, you can hear it, and different things that you know,
Yeah.
tie into, you can hear different things and see different things and wonder, oh, you know, would this be something we qualify for? It'd be, I don't know.
You know,
I'm curious myself, that's all.
I look at it like, and this is me personally, when my kids went to college, they applied for grants. They had to pay them back. They had to keep their grades up. They had to attend school. So there's always ties.
Well, there's definitely stipulations on
Right.
everything if you're getting money.
Yeah, right.
Unlike,
And
when you work, there's stipulations.
a lot of times with towns, cities, villages, municipalities, they're matching funds. And it's usually to the benefit of the person who gives the grant. So let's say we get a grant for Wood County. Wood County is gonna benefit from that grant, maybe not financially, but they can tout that they did this in Saratoga. I mean, there's always something. I'm very hesitant with grants, but they do have a very useful purpose. Federal grants are very sticky because there's so much tracking, almost a daily person to track these things, but that's my own opinion, not communicative of the board. So, anything else?
And one more thing about the grants too, a lot of them, especially the federal grants, they come with, if you were looking to do that same project on your own, they come with strings attached that can sometimes cause the portion that you pay to be even higher than what you would pay if you did the project on your own. The requirements for them. So sometimes they sound great, but the requirements they put on it just, they inflate the costs. So there's that aspect to it.
Yeah. Doug, you had your hand raised?
I was just thinking about grants. Most of our grant process comes through the clerk's office. She'll get an email from the state or the federal government where the grants are at. So they do know, and they are right on. A lot of grants are specified in one project, whether it's rail, whether it's water, whatever. So I know they do look at them, but a lot of them are really specified for the intergovernmental travel, meaning heavy truck systems.
And the Towns Association does a good job of trying to inform us as much as possible.
Then we'll come through the clerk's office.
But there's always specialized ones that they don't even bring forward, like the EMS, stuff like that, where it benefits the towns, but not necessarily all towns. So.
That answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Doug, you good?
No, I'll be good.
Do you have anything for us tonight, Bill?
Yeah, actually, I do, Madam Chair. You and I have talked about, I'm chair of the seed committee for the
Yeah.
county. And we've talked about, local grants through the county.
Absolutely.
In the last year's budget cycle, the city of Pittsville obtained, I don't know, $120,000
They do well.
worth of grants. And, to your point, if half of those, if that was matching, so yeah, they had to kick in 60,000, but they got 60,000.
That's a fact.
That's what I'm thinking.
But they needed that. What they applied for, they needed. So they were gonna get it regardless of the grant or not. And that's where that grant comes in. So,
I would encourage you.
yes,
We'll have grant monies being available to the tune of about $400,000 beginning July 5th. I would encourage you to look at that. From my
Absolutely.
point of view,
Yeah, putting
it's
in
not
60
free
and
money,
another
but
60.
goodness, gosh, maybe with federal grants, there's strings attached. The county money, I just think would benefit our town immensely.
what is that county money good for? Bill?
Pretty much anything that you can show a return of investment on. And, tax monies are a real good return on investment. So the main stipulation, we changed that from last year, is you would need to show a return on investment. But, I'd encourage you to look at that again, or all of the board members
Right.
to look at it again.
Now, we did
You can
apply
always-
last year, so we will
You
look
can
at
always
it again
reject
this
the
year.
idea, but don't just, turn it out of hand and say
Right.
no.
We did apply last year and it was rejected last year. We applied for part of the sign. So we actually, Alliant actually gave us money towards the sign, quite a bit. So there are other venues, but I do appreciate the information, Bill, and we definitely, if we have something in the works, we'll definitely apply. Because the county is,
If I may, Madam Chair?
yes,
So if Alliant gave you the money, ask them again.
I just did.
Yep.
They just gave us another $28,000 towards the firefighting equipment.
Exactly, thank you. That's kind of what I was getting at was, I
But
know
again-
there's some, I know what you're trying to say, but I also do believe, like he said, even if you would have to match it, you're still getting that back, even if there are stipulations, but.
If we need it, I totally agree. I am
Well, you
100%
wouldn't apply
on
for it
board.
if you didn't need it, I'm sure.
Pardon?
I don't think you'd apply for it if you really didn't
Exactly.
need it.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Kathy. You got it right on the mark.
There's always times though that sometimes when you go searching for a grant, you apply for something that might be nice, but it's not something, not a need. So I think that's what we've been trying to avoid is searching for one just to get a grant.
And I know it sounds like we're really cheap, but we are one of the fewest towns that don't owe a large amount of money. We only borrow money for our fire and,
It's like the ambulance.
yeah, but it gets repaid every year.
Right.
So I kind of like that feeling. I don't know about you.
It's a good feeling.
So, we're very hesitant to borrow money, so that being said. All right, anybody else? Okay, I need a motion to adjourn. Kathy. Motion made by Kathy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Bill? Bill. Bill. We'll give it to Bill. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Motion to adjourn. All right. Now we can move on?
Are we starting a second recording, separating this out?
Yep.